What's up, guys? It's your girl Keri Hilson, live in the UK. You're watching SoulCulture TV. I realized that I wanted to be a songwriter when I was maybe 12 years old. Or I should say, I realized that I liked writing songs when I was 12 years old. But I didn't know that songwriting was a job. You know, I knew that I liked writing songs, but I still thought that every artist wrote their own songs. So I just thought I would write my own songs and I'm gonna be on stage and sing that stuff. So it wasn't until I met other writers. During the course of my career, I was in a record deal, I was in groups. And did the group thing. I was writing songs for the groups, recording us. I learned Pro Tools. You know, and so before long I was writing a song, producing the vocals, doing all the rough edits when they leave by myself. You know, just 17 years old actually, holding it down in the studio. So I wrote my first, the first song that I wrote that an artist actually cut. Her name is Michiko, and it was the only English song on a Japanese artist's album. So released in Japan on Sony Japan, and it was incredible. It was incredible. That was the first time I saw my name in credits.
Must be strange because obviously that must be big in Japan, but back home maybe even.
It was fairly big, but yeah, back home no one knew. But they sent me the album, and everything was in Japanese. But then you see Keri Hilson. So it was really cool. I was 18 when I received that, so I guess I learned pretty young. My second person I ever worked on, I believe, was Kelly Rowland.
Wow.
And then Ruben Studdard, who won American Idol, and then Usher, and then Ciara, and then Brown, and then Toni Braxton, and then it just went on and on and on. And then later, J-Lo, and you know, just people, Britney Spears and Mary J, people who it was just like I couldn't fathom. I was in school when they were still great. They were, you know, in their heyday, and I'm just watching like, wow, never guessed. A lot of my peers, you know, they wanted the fame. I didn't chase the fame. I chased the craft. That is how I got the fame, because I was in the studio. There was a time when I was young and eager like you guys. I would spend about, I'm not trying this way so you guys can hear me. But there was a time where I would spend, and I was in college, but I did maybe 3 sessions a day some days. Now on the weekends I would instead of sleeping, I would just work, because I'm like, well, I know school's gonna start Monday, so I'm gonna be in the studio this entire weekend working on whatever came across my lap, and I did. So I think that is it was just pure passion. You know, I learned early that some people did it for the wrong reasons. They wanted to go to the club and buy all the bottles, you know, or just be in the VIP section and, you know, get their picture taken there and whatever. Like, my interests were music only first. And I wouldn't be where I am today if I didn't focus on the craft itself. I thought growing up that I would, you know, I kind of always felt like, okay, I'm gonna make it, I just don't know when. That's how I felt. I didn't tell nobody, because kids in school are probably like, yeah, whatever, you know. I didn't want to subject myself to the hatred that might come from that. So I kept my dreams to myself. I didn't tell anyone anything I wanted to do. It surprised a lot of people that when I went to school, when I finally made it, they're like, wait, you're just saying the graduation, but we didn't know you really wanted to pursue it. But anyway, I think that going into songwriting, that became attractive to me. I could make a living, still have my art, and keep my life the exact same. You know, I could have a relationship, I can do all these things, and have privacy, and walk the streets, and my work is out there. It's in, you know, everywhere. So that became attractive. Growing up in Decatur, Georgia, it's predominantly black. It's like low to middle class, not a lot of high class areas. Or upper class areas. So, you know, I wasn't from the hood, but I was in it. You know what I mean? Not far from it. I don't know. there's someone here, my road manager is actually from the same area I'm in, and I'm trying to describe it very, but I got the opportunity to go to a school with mixed races and learn about different cultures. So Decatur, I don't know, I'm second oldest of 5 kids. My parents, I had both parents in the household, they're still together. They worked very hard. Mother, both parents not really creative. Well, not really.
But they really support you if you do music. I know some of you guys, you say you're doing music and they think it's like a hobby.
Yeah.
But for you it's become a career, so they're quite down with it?
Oh, no. There were many years I was really like the black sheep of my family because my father had a bit more understanding. Well, it's weird because they have an appreciation for it. My mother was a model. But since I was born and since the family life, like she owned the daycare center for pretty much all of us, 20 something years. And I come from a family of educators. My mother was once a professor. Now she's, early childhood development. She has her master's in early childhood development, so she's, came to daycare. My grandmother was a professor, even in her old age, all throughout. She was a professor at a college, at a university. All my aunts, uncles, they're principals, counselors, teachers.
Wow, the real black sheep.
Being creative as I was, like, I had so many years of just fighting for my dream. They're the people that knew what I liked to do, what I did all the time. I joke around saying, I grew up thinking my name was Shut Up because I sang that much around the house and just, shut up, Keri! So, I just, for real, some of y'all are probably laughing because it's probably you, right? But yeah, my father sang in a quartet, and they pressed a record, like an actual 12-inch record before, so he understood where the passion came from, but at the same time he tried to curb it, because they looked at it like a hobby. They were like, alright, but you're going to college. That's great. You want to go to the studio on the weekend, when I was in high school, you want to go to the studio on the weekend, you better bring home an A, all A's. I had to have good grades and I thank them for that. I thank them for the importance of education because, the work ethic that comes along with that and the knowledge and the articulation of what it is you want. You'd be amazed at how much of your education you use in adult life. A lot of people, that's a misconception. Maybe not like division and certain things, but
there are some artists, even run on ISD in certain classes, where later on down the line, if the tax wasn't right,
you could use some math. You're right. You have to be multifaceted to be able to have a career. You have to not only know how to perform and play an instrument or do whatever it is you do. You do have to learn the business, the back end of it. So I hate it in the moment. I hated it. I'm like, why are you making me go into school? Why are you placing such a, you know what I want to do. And I thank them all the time for placing that, If you want to be a performer, you want to be a songwriter, producer, know your stuff, because you don't want anybody taking advantage of you or your money. Most importantly, you want to be able to make this not just a hobby. So you're working 9 to 5 and you do it as a hobby on the weekend. If you really want to chase this, you have to work every single day at that part. Because there's so many people in this industry that will take advantage of you. If you give them an inch, they will take your mile and run. So, be sure that you're about your business. I don't care what it is you want to do. Entertainment, or even if you want to own your own business or manage other artists or whatever, you want to be that person that people are afraid to cross. Because you know your stuff and you take your business very seriously. You want to be that person. You don't want to be the person they look at like, I'm going to get what I can from this person and move on to the next. You don't want to be that person. My name is Keri, I'm so very fly, oh my, it's a little bit scary. Boys wanna marry, looking at my dairy. Hey, you can stare, but if you touch it, I'm a berry. Pretty as a picture, sweeter than a swisher. Mad cause I'm cuter than the girl that's picture. I can talk about it cause I know that I'm pretty. And if you know it too, then ladies sing it with me. All eyes on me when I walk in. Y'all know this? No question that this girl's a 10. Don't hate me cause I'm beautiful. Don't hate me cause
done that.